listened to a young girl who was saying that the Nigerian community here is totally very angry. Thank you very much for your was the Ijo country of the Niger Delta of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He went to several schools to make your academic education as the government college to Delhi. And
go gather, destroy their food. Make security camp and that other camp, Togo camp, no compensate everybody.
Sometimes. Today our focus will be in the style of J.P. Clark, a poet and writer, and we shall also be very interested in his point as more dancer.
Some lives are meaningful, some are empty, with too much meaning and riches to offer humankind. Long after stories, earthly adventures and no more, one can still find footprints of these great lives on the pavements of our contemporary life.
Good evening, you're welcome to the program Green Planet.
Welcome once more to my art corner, and I'm about to paint a satirical but enjoyable painting. The main architect is a musician, and here comes our guy. Let's give him some properties. Okay. Now, thing is coming up. He probably looks like somebody you know, but then let's carry his nose to somewhere, and here, and here. Now bring out this massive aspect to make us want to look at him twice. Okay, now that's the guy. It's coming up, and so we go. He's got a long chin, and we have to bring him here so to have his ear come down. Need some filling for the black here. So our guy is coming up very well. And you now have him there, and we know he's coming right down, and we would like him to play for us a guitar maybe, and we need some pins here for us to come up with some nice artistic also fingers. And we need another something here to hint we are having music from a guitar as well. Now so the side goes up, and we seem to have an idea of the guitar coming up here. And the other fingers must give us a final hint of what we're trying to paint here. And we need some colors. But then there is a face in the guitar, and another story has been built, and the face has been formed fully to meet the object a musician is playing with. Now there's some subtle things we would like to heighten in this figure, like this. This gives us an idea of probably the kind of person. And this, okay, and we have the strings of the guitar. And you can see the figures coming up. In African cosmic logic, there's usually a chorus, or there is an audience watching what we do. Therefore, I'll make an audience in the form of a mask. And the mask is going to come up soon. Actually, we can create two figures within the same mask. Yeah, it's possible to come up with this guy, is there, just like we can come up with this contraption like this. Like this, and like this, to get the feeling of an African mask. And then maybe we try to suggest something like legs to our artist. And maybe to justify our location, we add an African sun. Most belief systems come from energy, and the African sun has been contemplated as a source of energy and of the vital source for a very long period of time, even though many have mistakenly ascribed this sun aspect of African belief systems to being that Africans do not believe in one God, which is a contradiction in terms, because Africans instead believe in one God that has manifested himself in many forms in order to be immanent. So, but then we are painting music, and our music feature is that the artist is influenced by probably a love or a woman or probably by a desire for a woman. This desire is what we are going to heighten here when we add the colors to this painting. So that's how we have our board now, and we're adding some colors. And I will be going for some red and some yellow to begin our coloring of the painting. And it has to be a bright, vital paint. And I think the background has to be friendly to the vibrant nature of the acoustics that we are trying to paint. Building up momentum. Around our inspiration. Of course, you know, Africa has a lot of colors, and we will be transiting into some yellowness as well. And then we know, of course, the underlying factor is reach. Of course, women are the custodians of many aspects of African oral tradition, and therefore, if an artist is singing of a woman, despite the subtle undertones that sometimes can be taken out of the painting, we must add the weight that comes with womanhood in African cosmic logic. It's coming up, and we need a bit of blue. Yeah, don't forget, women are very important in terms of the mythical symbolisms of Africa. There are even some matrilineal societies as well that put inheritance based on the maternal side of things. But apart from that, the Mamewata mythology spreads across the whole of West Africa, and you can also observe it amongst the Batanga of Cameroon, the Bakweri, who will talk of the Nyangona Muna myth, and even in forested livelihoods, like amongst the riverine and forest people of Manu Division, You can see that women play a key role in some secret societies in what is referred to as the Manyanga role. And I'm trying to bring out the colorful nature of Africa in our symbolisms here. The background that you use in a painting usually heightens the drama of that painting, and sometimes they should speak their own stories in terms of the color patterns. If they can't speak stories, they should create escapisms that can lead to people wondering what was in the head of the artist in the first place. Now you see that our painting is coming up, and yeah, we're adding more character into it. Maybe I put a bit of white here to highlight the painting here as we continue. Wow, I seem to enjoy it. A bit of yellow here as well. And here we are. We are at the base of the painting, you know. Maybe we should give this guy some yellow colors here. So our work is coming up. It's about time for us to start thinking about how his face is going to be painted, and to me this is a good color based on what we have here. Some would have preferred white, but then this is what's in my artist's head. My loops, as well as Soyinka would refer, one of his very important works to the actors in it, their source of inspiration. The guy is coming up. Now we have our guy, and wow, now it's a mask, so we can actually make it to be multicolored. Generally, masks in Africa are so from this direction you can see something like a face. From this direction you can see another face. So actually the mask turned out to be a couple of faces as well. And so come here now to add more depth to our characters in the painting, and color harmony is in the backdrop, you know. It must always be at the head of the artist, so as to make us to produce things that can be loved only for their colors as well as the stories beneath. Yeah, the mask is out, and got the mask that you know in the iron mask, the mask in African cosmic logic is out. So you see the painting is evolving, and we are on our way. So you see the painting is evolving. We are towards the bottom part of it. It still needs to be filled with inspiration in terms of colors, and we are here. We come back to heighten the drama again with red. Yeah. Just to tell you, the message of the painting runs from the beginning right to the end. So in terms of poetry, it would have been a rhyme scheme, you know, a poem that rhymes, you know. And so I think we're about to achieve that here as well. It's interesting to know that most art forms are linked, especially as they seem to come from the same artistic lobes. I use Soyinka's word again. And interesting too that many are now advocating for holistic thinking in development management, because that also helps in making the necessary links and trajectories necessary for understanding the complex issues of humankind. We are so complex, and therefore we must be treated with the complexity that is part and parcel of our basic nature, in order to arrive at solutions that are representative the majority of humanity. And then trying to spread out the colors so that the mix, the board is still a bit wet, and therefore it's still possible for you to increase the level at which colors blend with each other, you know. Now we should be filling this guy here, and our board is about to be filled totally. So now this is going to be about the last part that needs some level of dressing. The story continues here, and it's good to use a shade here that the guitar is not lost within the contraption, as the painting is quite colorful. So you see, and our song will probably give it its original color here, which is yellow, and maybe we add some yellow rays to its darkened colors to add refraction to our painting. I'm trying to see that everything is linked to each other, and the painting is one big family of ideas on one board. We are there. Now if I use my artist pen to do a bit of signing, this Arrey. I think a little bit of black to be added to the signature will make it to be more visible, and so I use a brush instead. That's Arrey Fakazol. The satirical but very colorful painting that was aimed at bringing out the acoustics about a woman by a guitarist. So you can see the final work on display. and it's very nice. You can see the witnesses to African cosmic reality. I told you we have choruses, and chorus always in the backdrop of a painting or an artwork or natural light in Africa. And this is architect of the painting, the main character, and the architect of my inspiration. And you can see he's bringing out some acoustics about a feminine figure, and the African sun is overlooking. Thank you very much for watching and for tuning in. It has been Arrey Ivo.
Thank you very much.
And you just listen to a young girl who was saying that the Nigerian community here is totally very angry.
Thank you very much for the
was the Ijo country of the Niger Delta of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He went to several schools to make your academic education was as government college to Delhi. And
Go gather, destroy their food. Make situated camp. And that other camp, some more camp. You compensate everybody. But some will
sometimes. Today I'll focus on the style of K.P. Clark, a poet and writer, and we shall also be very interested in his poem Akmo Dancing.
Some lives are meaningful, some are empty. There are lives that are meaningful, with too much meaning and riches to offer humankind. After some of these earthly adventures and no more, one can still find footprints of these great lives on the pavements of our contemporary life.
Good evening, you're welcome to the program Green Planet.